So this is the second class of our biology session. Today we will be covering the cells topic. All right. Cell theory tells us that everything is made up of cells. Whatever you are seeing, you yourself, is made up of cells. Cells divide to multiply. Cells nucleus have a thread-like structure which has a genetic material. The genetic material holds all the information which creates you. Alright, then we have the cellular classification. Cellular classification, we have three types of cell. We have acellular, we have prokaryotic, we have eukaryotic. Alright, so the acellular is the one which has no cell. Acellular has no cell. Prokaryotic, we have incomplete cell. It does have a cell, but it has an incomplete cell. Alright, it has an incomplete cell, as you all can see. What does it mean by it having an incomplete cell? It has an incomplete cell, which means that it has some missing structures, like it might not have mitochondria, it might not have other important structures. Okay. Then we have our eukaryotic. The eukaryotic is the complete cell. It's a cell like the cell which we have. It's a complete cell. It has everything there. It's a complete cell, we can say that. Then the eukaryotic cell is divided into two parts. First is the unicellular, then is the multicellular. I hope you all know what does that mean. Unicellular means one cell, an organism which is made up of one cell only, which are algae, plasmodium. Then we have multicellular. Multicellular, we have fungi, plant, and animal. These are all multicellular. They are made up of multiple cells. We humans are made up of multiple cells. There is no doubt that we are made up of multiple cells. Alright, so this comes to an end. This was a small, brief cells introduction. Alright, now we have the structure of eukaryotic, our cell structure. So this is the entire structure that we have. These small structures that we can see, it can be anything, like this can be a mitochondria. First we will tell you that this line over here, this part, these entire membrane, this is called the cell membrane. Cell membrane, you know what does cell membrane do? We will study it really. We are going to study the cell membrane very clearly later on. So what does the cell membrane do? Cell membrane is partially permeable. Partially permeable. Partially permeable. Okay. Now we have the cytoplasm. Cytoplasm, it's just liquid. Cytoplasm, you can only expect to see liquid. It's only going to be liquid and everything. Liquid helps all the organelles to swim, travel from one place to another. That's what does cytoplasm do. And now we have the nucleus. This is the nucleus, brain of the cell. What is the nucleus? The brain of the cell. Nucleus is the brain of the cell. Okay, now this was structure of the eukaryotic. If you want, you can draw this. Now we have the protoplasm. Here this is the protoplasm, living system. Alright, so the protoplasm is divided into two parts. First is the cytoplasmic organelles, then we have the nucleoplasm. Nucleoplasm means this part. This part is the nucleoplasm. Alright, this part is the nucleoplasm. So what is the cytoplasmic? Cytoplasmic is less darker. Cytoplasmic, when we talk about cytoplasmic, this is what we are talking about. We are talking about the cytoplasm. Alright. So it is less darker. So now these are the organelles, cytoplasmic organelles, which are going to be inside this cytoplasm. Mitochondria, powerhouse of the cell, endoplasmic reticulum, ribosomes, vacuoles. Alright, then it also has this liquid which is called cytosol. Now it's what does it do is cyclosis, responsible for the intracellular transport. All the transport in the cell, it is done by this cytosol, right? Remember that. Remember also that the nucleoplasm is blacker, darker, more denser. All right. Now we are talking about mitochondria. You all should know that what a mitochondria is because its definition can be asked to you in the exam. So mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, membrane bound organelle. Now when I say membrane bound organelle, what do I mean by that? Membrane bound means it is like this. Like this. Its membrane is like this. Like this. Alright. So its function. It is involved in the aerobic breakdown of glucose. It is involved in the aerobic breakdown of glucose to produce energy in the process of aerobic respiration. That's why referred as the powerhouse of the cell. This is the definition that I have wrote. It is involved in the aerobic breakdown of glucose. So the glucose is broken down to produce energy. Right? This energy. In the process of aerobic respiration, this process, the process in which your body makes energy is called aerobic respiration. That's why referred as powerhouse of the cell. We are done with mitochondria. Now we have endoplasmic reticulum. So the endoplasmic reticulum, we have two sides. First we have the rough endoplasmic reticulum, then we have the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. You can see over here that this is the rough endoplasmic reticulum. It has small dots on it, and then you have the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Alright, so now we're going to talk about the functions of the endoplasmic reticulum. So, the rough endoplasmic reticulum, it is included in protein synthesis by assembling amino acids. So, the main work of rough endoplasmic reticulum is to protein synthesis by assembling amino acids. Okay? Protein synthesis by assembling amino acids. Then we have the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, which is involved in lipid synthesis and storage. Okay? It is involved in lipid synthesis. We're going to continue with vacuoles. Vacuoles are a sac-like structure. So what does a vacuole do? Vacuole is present in everything, like in all the living things. We humans have vacuoles in our cells. Plants have cells. So we are going to do vacuoles now. Vacuoles are mainly in animals. Vacuoles in the animals are numerous. They are small sized, and there are abundant number of vacuoles present in us humans. So there are a lot of vacuoles in you. Then they have a temporary existence. They do not exist temporarily. They exist for a period of time. Then they are wasted and new vacuoles are made. Okay, first they are small sized, then they have a temporary existence. They are used to store excess permanent vacuoles. They are used to store excess permanent vacuoles. Okay. Okay, they are used to store excess on their. Okay, that's what it is. I think I have mistakenly wrote some wrong stuff over here. Okay, they are used to store excess food or food vacuole. Okay, they are used to store excess food vacuole or metabolic waste excretory vacuoles. Okay, food vacuoles, the food can be stored in here. The food can be stored in here. or metabolic waste called excretory vacuoles. This is a structure which we can see over here. We have these small vacuoles. They store mainly all the waste of your body or food, right? This center we have the nucleus, our plant. Centrally, then we have the plant vacuole, right? The plant vacuole, we have a single large centrally located vacuole. Single large centrally located vacuole stores large amount of sap, therefore referred as sap vacuole. Alright. So it is a single centrally located vacuole stores large amount of sap. So what is this sap? Sap is this liquid filled in which gives the plant turgidity to stay rigid. Large amount of sap exerts turgid pressure to vacuole of the plant. Right? Large amount of sap exerts turgid pressure to vacuole of the plant cell, which helps nominate turgidity and maintain shape of the cell. Alright, you can see this plant structure. So this entire thing is the vacuole, and in plant cell you will always have the vacuole in the center. So in the exam, be careful to see that where is the vacuole, and this is the nucleus over here. Now we are going to talk about some unique cytoplasmic organelles. When we talk about unique means they have their entirely different function. Unique cytoplasmic organelle, we have chloroplast. Chloroplast contains magnesium, right? Remember that chloroplast contains magnesium. Magnesium is present in animals, alright, plants. Alright, it is a membrane bound organelle. Remember that it is a membrane bound organelle. Now its function. In this process, carbon dioxide and H2O are used in the presence of light and chlorophyll to prepare glucose, and oxygen gas is released as byproduct. You will have to remember these definitions as they will be asked for you in the exam for up to 4 marks. Maybe 2 marks. Okay. Now we have the new structure, which is centrioles. Centrioles are a structure which is present in animals. We have centrioles. So what do we have in centrioles? Centrioles we do not have to study it in detail. It is just a small introduction to what centrioles are. First we are going to understand the structure of centrioles. This is a structure. When you see one centriole, when you see a single centriole like this one, it's called a centriole. But when you see double centriole, two centriole at once, you call them centrosome. Alright. Now, its functions. Centrioles are responsible to form spindles network during cell division only. Without cell division, they do not have any purpose. They only work while cell division only. Only when the cell is dividing, they only forms the spindle network during cell division. Okay. Now we understand that this is the spindle network. That's how spindle network is formed. This comes to an end of our session today. The next topic we are going to study is the nucleus, the brain of the cell. Okay, Allah Hafiz for today. Bye.